You've always been the one who got things done, the planner, the achiever, the one people call when something needed to happen. You built your identity on hustle, productivity, and pushing through. And then chronic illness walked in and flipped the entire table. The hardest part isn't the diagnosis. It's not even the pain or the fatigue. It's the internal war that happens when your drive tells you to push, but your body says absolutely not. If you are an A-type personality living with a chronic illness, you already know this battle. And today, we're going inside it. Hey warriors, I'm Gwen, your host, and this is Empowerment in Illness. I've spent years in this community listening to warriors, working alongside healthcare professionals, and building tools and resources to help people navigate life with chronic illness. I know this topic personally, and I know it through hundreds of conversations with people just like you. Today isn't about telling you to give up your ambition. It's about helping you redirect it so your drive works with your body, not against it. By the time this episode ends, you'll understand why A-type personalities are especially vulnerable after a chronic illness diagnosis. You'll know the psychological and physical traps that high achievers fall into, and you'll walk away with real practical tools to protect your energy without losing your identity. We're also going to tie this directly into the Lupus Roadmap, our new ebook that gives newly diagnosed lupus warriors a clear path through the fog. Because if you are a type A with lupus or any autoimmune condition, you need more than encouragement. You need a plan. We'll start by talking about what it actually means to be an A-type personality and why chronic illness hits this personality type so differently. Then we'll get into the emotional and physical cost of fighting your body while still trying to perform at a high level. After that, we're going to talk about shifting your identity from doer to advocate, which is one of the most powerful moves a high achiever can make. Let's get into it. Let's start with the truth most people don't say out loud. A-type personalities don't get sick quietly. When a high achiever receives a chronic illness diagnosis, the first instinct is often to treat it like a project. Research everything, find the best doctors, build a system, overcome it, and while some of that drive is genuinely useful, it also sets the stage for a very specific kind of suffering. A-type personalities are characterized by a strong need for control, a competitive drive, high achievement orientation, and a tendency to measure self-worth through productivity. These traits are reinforced and rewarded in every professional and social environment. So when the body starts failing to cooperate, the instinct isn't to rest. The instinct is to work harder, try a new supplement, find a new protocol, and push through. The problem is that chronic illness doesn't respond to efforts the way a project does. Lupus doesn't care how disciplined you are. Rheumatoid arthritis doesn't give you extra credit for pushing through a flare. Fibromyalgia isn't impressed by your productivity system. The body operates on its own rules, and until a high achiever accepts that, they're going to stay in a painful loop of overextending, crashing, recovering, and doing it all over again. This is exactly why stop 1 of the Lupus Roadmap is called clarity. Before you can build any kind of sustainable life with chronic illness, you have to get honest about who you are, what your condition actually demands, and where your old patterns are working against you. Clarity isn't about lowering your standards. It's about seeing your situation clearly so you can make smart decisions instead of reactive ones. Here's something that doesn't get talked about enough. The emotional and physical cost of maintaining a type A lifestyle with a chronic illness isn't just exhausting, it's dangerous. When you override your body's signal repeatedly because your identity is tied to output, you're not just risking a bad flare day. You're training your nervous system to stay in a constant state of fight or flight, which research shows directly worsens inflammation and immune dysregulation. There is a term for what happens to high achievers when chronic illness disrupts their sense of identity. It's called identity foreclosure, and it happens when someone's sense of self is so attached to a role and behavior that any threat to that role feels like a threat to their existence. For a type A warrior, being unable to perform at their previous level doesn't just feel frustrating, it feels like they are disappearing. That grief is real, and it needs to be named before it can be worked through. On top of the emotional weight, the physical pattern that A-type personalities falls into are genuinely harmful. The push-and-crash cycle, where you feel slightly better so you do too much, then spend 3 days in the bed, is one of the most common patterns in the chronic illness community. This cycle isn't weakness. It is what happens when ambition hasn't yet been recalibrated to match your body's new operating capacity. Stop 2 of the Lupus Roadmap addresses this directly through patterns. One of the most important things a newly diagnosed warrior can do is start tracking their energy, symptoms, and triggers so they can see their own patterns clearly. This isn't about obsessing over your illness. It's about gathering intelligence. When you know your patterns, you stop being surprised by crashes. You start anticipating them, working around them, and eventually reducing them. That's the kind of control a type A personality can actually use. This is the part of the conversation that changes things for a lot of high achievers. The goal isn't to stop being a type personality. The goal is to redirect that drive somewhere it can actually work. And the most powerful place to redirect it is into self-advocacy. Self-advocacy in the chronic illness space means learning how to communicate your needs clearly to your medical team. It means pushing back when something doesn't feel right. It means researching your condition, asking the hard questions in the exam room, and refusing to be dismissed. For a type A personality, self-advocacy isn't a soft skill. It's a strategic one. It's where your research skills, your tenacity, and your high standards become assets rather than liabilities. Stop 3 of the Lupus Roadmap is called Plan, and this is where self-advocacy becomes a real, workable system. Building a plan means knowing your treatment goals, understanding your medication schedule, having a flare response protocol, and knowing what accommodations you need at work or school. It means getting your medical documentation organized, knowing your rights under the ADA and FMLA, and having a support structure around you that knows what to do when things get hard. This is the kind of planning a high achiever can pour their energy into, and it produces real results. The shift from doer to advocate isn't a demotion, it's a revolution. You're not doing less. You're doing something harder and more important. You're fighting for yourself in a system that wasn't built for you, and you're doing it with strategy instead of just sheer will. One of the most powerful things about being a type A personality with chronic illness is that your old benchmark stops making sense. Finishing a project by Friday, hitting a revenue goal, staying late to get ahead, all the markers that used to tell you that you were succeeding don't translate to a life that includes flare days, infusions, and brain fog. And if you don't build new benchmarks, you'll spend every single day feeling like you're failing. Building a new definition of success starts with one question. What does a good day look like for me now? Not compared to who you were before your diagnosis, not compared to your coworkers or your friends. For you, in your body, with your condition, what counts as a win? Maybe it's getting through a full workday without a crash. Maybe it's cooking one meal at home. Maybe it's having the energy to take a walk. These are not small things. These are genuine achievements when your baseline is different from the population average. Stop 4 of the Lupus Roadmap is protection, and it's about building systems that protect your progress. That includes protecting your energy, your mental health, your legal rights, and your relationships. Protection looks like setting limits that other people may not understand at first. It looks like saying no to things that will cost you more than they give you. It looks like treating your rest as a non-negotiable part of your performance plan, not as a reward you have to earn. If you're a high achiever, this is the hardest and most important reframe. Rest isn't the opposite of productivity. For someone with a chronic illness, rest is what makes productivity possible. When you start protecting your energy with the same intensity you use to protect your calendar, everything changes. You stop losing days to crashes. You start showing up more consistently, and you begin building something sustainable instead of just surviving. Set aside some quiet time this week with your journal. These prompts are meant to help you notice your direction, not judge your pace. Where in your life are you still holding yourself to pre-diagnosis standards? What would it look like to update those standards without abandoning your ambition? Think about the last time you pushed through when your body was asking you to stop. What were you afraid would happen if you rested? Was that fear accurate? What is one area where you could redirect your drive into self-advocacy this week? For our listeners' action plan, Step 1. Identify one area where the push-and-crash cycle is showing up in your life right now. Write it down. Step 2. Pick one benchmark from your pre-diagnosis life that no longer fits. Replace it with one that reflects where you are now. Step 3. Download the Lupus Roadmap at empowermentandillness.com and start with Stop 1, Clarity. Spend 15 minutes this week just reading through it and noticing what resonates. Step 4. Identify one limit you need to set this week to protect your energy. Tell one person about it. And now, a word from our sponsor. This segment was brought to you by Empowerment and Illness. I want to take a moment to tell you about some of the tools and resources we've built specifically for this community. Everything I am about to share was created with you in mind, the warrior who is navigating chronic illness and need real support, not just inspiration. First, if you are newly diagnosed with lupus, or you've been living with it and still feel like you're guessing at every turn, the Lupus Roadmap is for you. It's our ebook that walks you through 4 stops: clarity, patterns, plan, and protection. It's practical, it's clear, and it was built to help you stop feeling overwhelmed and start feeling equipped. You can grab your copy right now at empowermentandillness.com. We also have 2 digital tools that were built to support your daily life with chronic illness. My Flarecast helps you track your symptoms, identify your flare triggers, and get ahead of the patterns that keep knocking you down. My Voice Ally helps you prepare for your doctor appointments so you walk in knowing exactly what to say and you walk out with answers. Both tools are available at empowermentandillness.com. And if you've ever left a medical appointment feeling unheard or like you forgot to mention something important, My Voice Ally was made for that exact moment. We also carry the Paper Trail Medical Binder, which is your one place to keep all the sacred details of your journey. Lab results, medications, appointment notes, insurance information, all of it organized in your hands. And if you are someone who processes life through writing, our journals and planners were designed to help you track, reflect, and stay grounded. All of our products are available in the store at empowermentandillness.com. Warriors. Everything is built by warriors for warriors. Be prepared. Don't panic. And now, back to the show. Before we leave, I would like to close with a special portion of the show I call Healing Heartbeats. This is where we allow ourselves to wallow in sorrow. Give yourself 3 minutes to laugh, cry, scream, cuss, or just sit in silence. Whatever you need to do to feel it, do it. Let the depression in for only 3 minutes. Once you've reached 3 minutes, compartmentalize it and get back to living. This is a rinse and repeat behavior. You cannot let depression take over, because when it does, it will not let go. When you hear about the passing of someone, they have the day they were born and the day they pass away. There's a dash in the middle. It's not a long line, but a short dash. That dash represents your life. Go live in spite of having a chronic illness. Don't let your condition stop you. Today we talked about something that doesn't get nearly enough attention in the chronic illness space. We talked about what it costs to be a high achiever when your body has changed the rules. We named the identity grief that comes with the diagnosis. We looked honestly at the push and crash cycle and what drives it. and we talked about one of the most powerful redirects available to you, turning your drive into self-advocacy, so your ambition starts working for you instead of against you. The warriors in this community are some of the most determined, resilient, capable people I've ever encountered. You didn't stop being that person when you got sick, but you need to update the operating system. That isn't failure, that's wisdom. And the warriors who learn to work with their bodies instead of fighting them are the ones who build the most meaningful and sustainable lives. If today's episode resonated with you, please share it with someone in your life who needs to hear it. And if you are newly diagnosed with lupus or living with an autoimmune condition that has turned your world upside down, the Lupus Roadmap was built for you. 4 stops: clarity, patterns, plan, and protection. A clear path through the chaos. You can find it at empowermentandillness.com. Remember, you have the strength, the heart, and the support to continue your journey. Be safe.